Hey there, Joy the World friends and family. I am Melissa Joy here to do a reading for you. The affirmatives are out because they're like, we're so Aquarian. And we're in this new Aquarian age, which is actually plasma. It's the most expansive and contractive state at the same time. Some people know it as the era of Christ consciousness or heaven on earth. Things like that, when anything is possible. Oh, the whole deck is upside down. Let's go ahead and get it right. But there's some incoming energy for you, friends. Then no longer life being backwards, because it's interesting. I have a hands-only reading that I'll be posting. Ooh, did it shake you up? And in there, the High Priestess is a bat. And so it said, make sure they know it's no more hanged man mulling it about, trying to go, I don't understand. What should I do? What's the right thing? What should I do? No, that old Taurian North Node, Scorpio South Node is swishing on out and is getting into that innate knowing of trusting ourselves. So you might notice it cleansing out relationships in your life, like old dead horses, that type of thing, like the old can't get along for anything, can't get on the same page, maybe needling, backbiting, exhausting conversations ad infinitum that seem like it finally connects and you get that connection, that closure, and then it just happens again. So it's taking us off repeat, and they're like, isn't that great news? Yes, it is. I love it. I see the fuchsia on the horizon. Heaven is already appearing here on earth. So it might just be putting on your heaven lens of like, oh, wonderful opportunities coming to me. No longer the death goggles of the death star, because we're moving into Aries as our north node and Libra as our south node. So it's talking about when you make decisions that focus on you and really have your best in mind and your best at heart, it ends up making a beautiful scenery working out for everyone. Just like nature has its perfect system of checks and balances. Invasive species are usually those that come from other areas that its natural predator or prey isn't in the new area in order to keep it balanced. But this is talking about bringing in that balance, harnessing that balance, getting into your dharma, getting into your more than your life purpose, but the thing that gives it meaning and brings it all together. And that thing, my friend, is you. It's about you knowing that your birthright is happiness. That's our cellular makeup before everything starts fluffing and zhuzhing us, because we come in so needy. We need someone to interpret our cries and decide when to feed us and when we should sleep and how we should eat, and programming our mind as to how we should be treated and how we should treat others. You know, it's cleansing all that away. It's kind of like, hi-ho, Silva, let's wrap that old script up and get it out of here. Well, thank you, Unicorn. So I see one here and I see one here. We got an undernote right there. So let's find out what's going on. We have some wands and the cups. Okay, fire and water. That is getting rid of some of that scorpionic energy. That damned if you do, damned if you don't. They hurt me, so I'm going to fix that. Maybe even trying to fix things yourself, because it makes you so uncomfortable as to how things are going or turning out. But it's talking about release the control of that. You don't have to be in the mayhem of it anymore. And see how this is the 9 of wands and this is the 8. Part of the beauty of tarot is it begins to show us the energies that are going on around us so that we can make an informed choice. Not what I say, what you hear in your spirit, because you're the one living in that body and in that mind every day. You're the one who knows what a frog means to you or what a beep beep on the horn means to you. You're the one interpreting your life, okay? So it takes time to sit with this and listen to what you've heard in your spirit. All right. So that begins to be a time that you can step down, step off, and step out. You don't have to keep pushing through to try and get that completion and that closure, because remember, it's just another cycle. So going to the 9 and to the 10, thinking that's going to give you the relief, but you have to go through so much hell to get there. It's not like graduating. We're fooled into thinking, oh, let me go to the next grade and then eventually I'll be able to phase out of this and get out of this. Well, that's a ploy when it comes to the spiritual realm, okay? So here it's like that is not what it's about. It's like you can leave all the other behind. Because if you even look here, there's a 3 of wands. Your ship's coming in and going, I'm going to just leave the rest behind. I'm going to focus on my relationship with myself. Not the logic mind anymore of trying to understand that oh, well, when they say this, they must mean that, and I must behave this sort of way in order to get these people to either approve of me or to not harm me. You know, not everybody is it for approval. For some people, it's for preservation. Okay. And you know who you are if that is you. Okay, friend. So underneath that running and trying to escape, it's showing that there was a 7 of Cups. Kind of in this case, it's being interpreted as a winner takes all. So it lets me know there was a lot of competition. There was a lot of either in your mind and conditioning of how you grew up, or in the people around you, like deciding your limits, deciding who you are, choosing for you, controlling you, you trying to control yourself in order to either, you know, get the approval or to, what was that? To have the protection of living to see another day. But here, that's some old moon mindedness coming on in, and you don't need to be reminded of it anymore. There's a new story going on here, and we're going to delve into it to see about it, but it's talking about the spirit and your superpowers, about some time to pray, some time to reflect, spending time with yourself to see how you think and feel about the certain environments and situations going on, to sit with your body. Our body is an instrument, and is an instrument that reads the environment. So often we're taught, especially here in America, if you're uncomfortable, keep doing it, because there's something wrong with you in the first place and you need to be whole and complete, which means a 100 in everything. But if every music note was the same, would it be music? I dare say not, right? So the thing is about who we are is that fluidity. It's like the equalizer. It's the symphony and the sound coming out of us. So it's not that you're supposed to be more patient, more tolerant, or that you're to this or to that. It's just like, instead of focusing on that side or this, which leads to a lot of this chaos and a target being painted on your back right over your heart, 3 of Swords type energy, it says, no, let's just pull back on into the center and get in touch with myself and know, am I betraying myself over and over again? When I really want to do something else, say something else, go somewhere else, stay behind, don't go, you know, cut this off, that type of thing. Okay. So it's wanting to get into a little bit more spiritual self-evaluation there, not about you needing to be better. It has nothing to do with betterness. It has to do with your body's reading. If your body begins to get uncomfortable, it's often in an instrument of letting you know that, hey, there's something that I'm picking up on that I don't like. And not like I don't prefer, but no, like does not agree with me. And so if you're already picking it up viscerally, can you imagine when you begin to hold hands and walk with it? And I don't just mean a lover. I mean like a connection, a commitment, a business partnership, a friendship, any of that. That then you have to try and agree, right? It's like that 3-legged race that there you are trying to hop along and one's being snatched this way and that. Meanwhile, everybody else running their 2-legged race is just whizzing on past, and it can create a lot of frustration in that type of dynamic. So they're saying there's no need to be tethered anymore. You can stand on your what? Your own 2 unicorn feet. Do, 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 do. That's right. And under the unicorn is the 5 of Cups. So there was a bit of like browbeating, false humility, of being hemmed in, like needing to be everybody else's solution, you know, and catering to others. You might have strong Cancerian placement in your chart to where your life is put on hold, maybe strong Capricorn, okay, because those have to do with the tropics, the lines of the equator right there. So it's trying to keep everybody else balanced, but yet your life has looked like mayhem, okay? Might have resembled a lot of this, so that by the time you get done with all this, it looks like this. Bowing down, exhaustion, and your own have been spilled out, because who was tending to those? Those other people? I think not. Because if people are putting you in a position, these are other than your small children, right, are putting you in a position to balance them out, solve their relationship, very Libran, right? Okay, think of the scales. That's why we're moving into this new Aries energy in the next month or two. So this is important to kind of get a grasp on what the Aries could look like and what the Libra South Node could look like. And that's losing yourself for the sake of another. And not for the sake of another who's like, oh my God, you saved my life. Thank you so much. And their life starts to turn around. No, it's those that there's the buzzer, the bad problem again. Here's another this, and they get disgruntled. You need to this. Oh, you make me so happy, and you always know how to help me, and da 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 da. But you don't ever see their life actually changing. And a lot of times you're only available, meaning contacted and reached out to, when there aren't other things to do. So it's like somebody who's only a partial friend, kind of like a partial truth. Is it really a truth? Is that really a friend? No. Okay. So the zebra's like, please help me. All right, we're going to get a rune on you, zebra. Let's get a rune on the zebra here, the 9 of Wands, of what we're supposed to see. That's interesting. These are coming in upside down. So at the top, they want you to know it is all coming together. It is all coming together. Actually, more than that, they're saying it's all coming to you. This is all coming to you. Kind of like a public service announcement is being sent your way. So these are seeds. Maybe these are actions that you've been sowing for a long time, maybe silently through prayer. Because if you look, the prayer hands are here. And it's not just being, oh, austere and things like that. There's something to do with energetic connection when you are on your knees or when your hands come together. It's like both cables being attached to the battery. It causes the system to run within its own self, not needing to rely on anyone else, okay, for self. Okay, we can enjoy others and appreciate others, but not for self. We don't need to rely on others for self. All right, so let's get to zebra here. Talking about disruption, liberation, change, evolution of mind, topsy-turvy, growth, and inner strength. So it's like when things get kind of, remember the chaos of things being all mixed together, that it could be a whirlwind of emotions, feeling like this one way, 1 minute, and this way the next, or maybe in the morning this way, in the afternoon that way, and maybe you're still in that nasty environment, okay? You can go watch the little video that I put up called Heaven on Earth. But that environment has really been conditioning you for quite some time. And those things pop up to try and trigger you to see, will you spiral and will you spin again? Because there's some other force sitting there getting an entertainment over watching you run the race. Because their only price is to watch. Your price is all the efforting. Okay? So the inner strength that's actually required here is the knowledge that I can grow and surpass this. That recognizing the point of change, that you don't have to go around one more time. You don't have to please others or bring that balance to their life. That is not your job. You can't work out for another person, nor can you eat for another person. So you can't self for another person either. So it's just prolonging the inevitable, whatever that inevitable might be. So here in the 7 of Cups, talking about delving further into the spirit, they're shining up the star right now. So let's see what that has to do with opening. Okay, we've got receptive, intent, renewed, clarity, centered, light, merge, and radiate. I absolutely love that. So these are kind of like you taking back, because cups, once you've pierced them, what can they hold? They've got a hole in the bucket, dear Liza. What you gonna do? Because you got a hole in the wash tub. If you watch Intimate Auto Jug Band Christmas, you know, and once you do, how do you get on with your livelihood? So this is coming about to say, hey, let's move on. Let's get our solo cups, right? Get our own set of cups instead of somebody else, you know, snagging them all up and going, mine, mine, mine. And then what are you left with? Nothing, right? When you're all this juicy bits floating around out here, see all this wonderfulness going on, see the ever-flowing life coming your way, that you don't have to play that anymore, that you can simply choose you. Remember? You don't have to go on to the 8 of Cups where you walk away. You can just choose yourself and watch the trash take itself out, darling. Thank you. So I love it. That's where you begin to get centered. And remember, when we're centered, we don't have to keep going through the cycles, because the cycle is on the merry-go-round. That's where you feel the spin and your head gets out of whack and you kind of get in tune to whatever the rhythm is of that situation or that environment. Where if you get into the center, all the spin, all the whir, all the topsy-turvy, all that moving about ceases, right? You get into the center of yourself. It is the loophole. It is the wormhole. It is the wrinkle in time. So they talk about, let's go this way to the 5 of Cups. Okay, sitting on top of the world, because that looks like anything but. It looks like the world's sitting on top of you. And all you have is this endless misery going on here of these cups pouring out. Like, ceaseless prayer or meditation or reflection or spirit connection through things like this, that you literally can't seem to get ahead. Because your head is folded. You're trying to rest. You're trying to recover. You've got your head down so that you don't have your neck stuck out and somebody keep trying to get the goose for dinner. Make it their Christmas, and it is not your holiday when you were the one on the plate. So they're saying sitting on top of the world. These are the kind of relationships we have when we get in the center with ourself, okay? Like that battery, like that, the prayer hands over here, that charge is like, I don't have to rely on anyone but myself. That's where it begins. And you get into your own feelings, exploring what your body's telling you when it's telling you. You don't have to stop the person and go, wait a second, my kidney is talking to me. No, you might just keep nodding your head and you start noticing, that friend of a friend that walked up started to make your throat itch and you feel really uncomfortable. And the things they said, you just kind of were shocked. And it was like, okay, that doesn't mean you're judging them. That means your system is registering information, and it's trying to be the Libra. It's trying to let you know what is happening on the waters with that boat. Okay, because our boat is our relationship with ourselves. But when we begin to let others in who are fine with chaos, they're gonna be tipping and dipping and flipping that boat all over the place, okay? Without regard for your well-being, because maybe it entertains them to have chaos. And then we start trying to control and communicate and connect and all that excessive energy just blowing out all over here when our ships have already come in. And what is that? Our relationship, heaven on earth. This is heaven speaking to you, showing up the signs and the things that you don't have to explain to yourself because you speak your own language. Like when you see those, you're like, oh yeah, I'm excited, because your mind registered and understood the imagery and the visions as to what it implied to you. And here it's implying sitting on top of the world. Whose world? Your world. Okay, Fran. So let's get something right here. Okay, this is what's, it's all coming together. It goes over here with the Eight of Wands. So let's see about this disruption and the Halagaz, the topsy-turvy over here, because that seems to be like the one little snag that might snare you or trip you or lure you in to going again, trying to get closure in a situation. I feel you there. But closure is not required. Remember, connection with yourself. Closure is not required. This is the closure you need. It's like you don't have to argue with yourself. Like when you know, you go. And when it's N-O, you don't go. And you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. I found if I have to keep explaining myself to somebody, that's not a relationship. As someone who's vying for my authority and my power, but in order for them to enjoy it, I have to give it to them. Like I continue to serve them, and meanwhile, starving to death. Sorrow, grief, and misery, not knowing where it's coming from. It's coming from feeling like you're a failure when really you're with a holdout. Okay? And this ain't no holdout, hold up. This is Jupiterian power in here. This is opening up the sky to know day and night you belong to you. You have plenty of space right here under your feet. This is your relationship with yourself. And this is all we have to maintain, because if you own the ground right under your feet, can anybody push you off, step you off, take you off, tempt you off? Yeah, unless you're willing to go around the mountain one more time and you're like, I think I want to eat that vomit one more time. I think I want to have that argument one more time. I think I want to be beat down one more time. I want to see this and that and whatever happened. And it's like, You have chosen. You see that blindfold? It's like, I know what I see. I know what I feel. I know what I'm in tune to, and I'm wanting to grow. Remember? Talking about the growth, that's the expansion here. Letting that Jupiterian power come in and begin to expand who you are. Expand this territory under your feet, your abundance, your glory, your juiciness, okay? Into the way you see the world, into the expression of who you are. That's why it's not one note. That's why you're not supposed to be 100% patient, 100% this. On whose scale, right? You're supposed to be true to that body. Your system is speaking to you about threats, about stresses, about joys, about longings. Like it might be like, could you please take me out to see the daylight? Please. Could you watch a funny movie? Please. Could we get together with friends? Please. Could we crawl into bed early tonight and just lush out and get all snuggled up in our pillows? Please. right? And this is what it does. Look how that territory amplifies. Now, this is like pineal gland going on here, and it's also very much magnolia. Magnolia is invigorating and uprising while also soothing and smoothing. It's kind of like what's the great equalizer? If there were ruts in your road from past relationships and mistakes and the judgments and all those other things that are going on down here, right? We don't have to keep going round and round and round. This is smoothing it out. Like it's focusing way more on this energy here than what's going on up here. So it begins to smooth it out. And as it's smoothing that out and filling in those rifts and those valleys and things, it's also taking down the molehills that have seemed like mountains that have been busting your chops and rocking you around as you get everywhere and putting you in a frazzled state. It's ready to be done with that. And this is like you sitting on top of the world. Like, and this isn't as above, so below. We're talking about in your energy field, in your promises, in the desires of who you are. This all came with you. You are royalty, all right? It's already promised to you. It is who you are. There is no competition for who you are. There is only completion, okay? Embracing and accepting that life loves you for you. No prove, no do, just the who, all right? I hope you saucy up on that.
That was easy.
That's right, because that is easy. And let this sit with your soul and your spirit, and you'll find that it maybe starts showing up in your life in your own voice. And that's why I do this channel, is I want you to trust yourself and begin to awaken your authority and your power of trusting yourself, of knowing when you're hungry, when you're sleepy, how to clothe, cover, and feed yourself, okay, through this partnership with the heaven on earth. Not having to lean on others for self anymore, just because that was how we were born into this planet. Jupiter has great plans for you, friend. Okay, so leave an emoji, leave a comment down below. I want to hear from you. I want to know you've been here. It puts some wind under my wings and helps me to fly. So anyways, I love you. Bye for now.